Hello everyone, welcome to SwitchUp as we once again have a look at some of the games coming out for the Switch in this upcoming week. A big thank you to Warhammer 40,000 Lost Crusade for sponsoring this video. We'll be going from the date of the 28th of August up until the 3rd of September, looking at any games first of all that may have crept out without being in one of these videos before of course focusing on this upcoming week's games. Now I just want to say I have been away this week, had a week away in a nice little cottage, but what that does mean is my internet has been terrible there and it's been very difficult to research the games that are coming this week. Every time I loaded up the eShop it crashed. So if I miss anything obvious I do apologise, I'll make sure to stick it at the start of next week's video. Okay, what games are coming this week? Well, let's find out. Starting with a couple of games that are already out then, and the first of those is Hoa, which is a puzzle platform game with a really striking hand-drawn art style. The blurb itself says that you explore a vast world of meticulously crafted sceneries of stunning hand-painted art. There are exploration-based puzzles to solve, and the storytelling is woven into the adventure itself. I've seen a couple of videos of this and I do really like the look of it, not just in terms of the aesthetic which is wonderful, but in terms of that relaxing gameplay. It's selling for £13.49 or your regional equivalent, and as I said it is out now. And the other one that's already out is Secret Neighbour. This is a part of the Hello Neighbour series, but this one is a multiplayer social horror game set in that particular universe. You need to sneak around the house collecting keys in order to unlock the basement door. One of you though is the neighbour in disguise. You'll need to cooperate with teammates, using perks and abilities, trying to get all of the keys to unlock that door. The one dressed as the neighbour of course is trying to stop you. If you're interested, this one is selling for £17.99.
Thanks to Warhammer 40,000 Lost Crusade for sponsoring this episode. If you've watched the channel for a while, you'll know that I've covered every Warhammer game on Switch, but Warhammer 40,000 Lost Crusade is a mobile game. It's completely free to play and it's officially licensed from Games Workshop. It's filled with heroes from that franchise and it's the first time that players get to hear the voiceover of the heroes. There's a special event coming up called the Cordus Test, which starts on August the 30th and it goes on until September the 5th. Players will share a prize pool of 2 million crystals by answering the questions. Additionally, for SwitchUp viewers, we've got a little challenge for you. If you download the game with the link and then can answer the question in the top pinned comment, making sure to include your in-game ID, we're going to pick 6 winners who will get an additional $30 worth of in-game gift packs. And each one of those 6 winners will also get a Nintendo Switch game code. The game has a full storyline where you'll be PvE, player versus enemies, and you can send your troops out on expeditions where it plays out in real time. So link to download in the description, see if you can answer that question and make sure to include your in-game ID, and as well as that $30 of extra in-game stuff, we'll be giving away 6 game codes. Happy days. Thanks to those guys for sponsoring this episode.
On to this week's games then, and the first of these is Monster Harvest. This describes itself as a farming adventure game with a twist, as well as the traditional elements of developing and building a farm, customizing and crafting, that sort of stuff. You can also use slimes to mutate your crops in order to create companions to take into battle. Now we actually have a video on the channel already highlighting what this game is all about. I'll put a link to that in the top pinned comment and we'll have a full review for it up next week. It's selling for £14.99, although there is 20% off of that price up until the 13th of September. Next is Lamentum, which is a pixel-based art survival horror set in the mid-19th century. You play as a young aristocrat on a journey to find a cure for the disease that has afflicted your wife. You end up in a mansion where the Earl claims to be a master in ancient secrets and forgotten sciences, and the blurb mentions that it takes inspiration from cosmic horror and H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos in particular. It's going to sell for £13.99 or your regional equivalent, but it is another one that has a discount at launch, this time 10% off until launch day the 31st of August. Then we have Rustler, which basically describes itself as a medieval GTA, and I mean classic top-down Grand Theft Auto, my favourite to be perfectly honest. I remember the first 2 games in the series back on the PC, I played them, and Chinatown Wars on the DS as well, that was a great game. It says here that there is a sandbox world to explore, you can complete quests, form alliances and double cross your foes, all in the name of trying to win the great tournament. There seems to be a large chunk of wackiness involved, shooting cows into the sky, drawing pictures in the mud with a plough, digging up dinosaur bones, or throwing holy hand grenades. I think Worms might have something to say about that. They are all mentioned as some of the activities you can partake in. This is another one that hopefully we'll have a review of for you next week. It will cost £24.99 and it releases on the 31st. Kitaria Fables is another game that's out this week, and it's the second game that features farming and crafting. This is an ARPG where you have been called upon to defend the citizens of Poor Village as the wildlife surrounding it become increasingly aggressive. With a range of weapons from swords, bows and even a spellbook, you'll be taking on enemies, gathering resources in order to craft new weapons, as well as making a home for yourself within the village. It seems there are 2 good options then on the farming front this week, and this also has a discount at launch, 20% off until launch day, which is the 1st of September. The next game has a really interesting concept actually. It's called Apsulov, End of Gods, and the blurb describes it as a future Viking horror sci-fi adventure. You will need to survive lurking dangers as you journey through a world of technology and mythological artifacts where chaos rules over the human realm. It goes on to say that it's a first-person horror game which mixes futuristic technology and Norse mythology as you attempt to master otherworldly artifacts and discover the secrets of Yggdrasil. Not a huge amount of detail in terms of gameplay mechanics, but I do love the idea at least and the setting, and it is published by Digerati, who have a pretty good track record on the Switch so far. Next then is a double pack of games from NIS America. NIS Classics Volume 1 includes Phantom Brave, the Bermuda Triangle, and Soul Nomad and the World Eaters, with both being strategy RPGs. Phantom Brave first released in 2004 for the PS2, with the Bermuda Triangle edition releasing for the PSP in 2010 with some added features. Soul Nomad and the World Eaters came out in 2007, again for the PlayStation 2, and both seem to have average review scores of around 65 to 75% as far as I can see. This double pack will cost £35.99, or your regional equivalent of course, and releases on the 3rd of September.
It's damn good to be back!
We just witnessed history, dude! Everybody in another...
Also on the 3rd you have Big Rumble Boxing Creed Champions. Now I was a huge Rocky fan as a youngster going into my teens. I mean, if you added up the number of times I've watched the first 5 films, it would easily stretch into the hundreds, although admittedly the 5th one makes up a very small percentage of that number. I also love the 6th one they made years later. I thought that was a very clever way of bringing Rocky back, but I've never seen the Creed movies, something I should probably rectify. This boxing game allows you to fight from any of 20 characters from both film series, including Rocky of course, Apollo Creed, Ivan Drago and Clubber Lang. Just reading those names out makes me want to go and watch Rocky again, as well as characters from the Creed films such as Adonis Creed and Victor Drago. It promises robust boxing mechanics, combos, fighter specific finishers, 13 boxing arenas and thematic training moments. Of course you'd have to have those in anything based on Rocky. Now I loved the Rocky game that came out on the GameCube I played it on. I know it was on other consoles of that era too, and hopefully this one does the series name justice. It will sell for £31.49 or your regional equivalent. And finally for this week then is Sonic Colors Ultimate Digital Deluxe Edition. Now just to make it clear, as it seems to be the practice that Sega have now adopted with their bigger games, only the digital deluxe version release is this week. That includes the game as well as a music pack and a cosmetic pack, and it sells for a higher price. The standard release of just the game comes out next week, so just be aware of that if it is just the standard game you want. With all that out of the way, Sonic Colors originally released for the Wii and the DS back in 2010 and introduced the Wisp characters that acted as power-ups for Sonic. This ultimate version enhances the visuals, improves the frame rate, and includes a newly recorded soundtrack. If it is this deluxe bundle you want, then this comes out on the 3rd of September, otherwise it's next week you want to wait for when that standard version releases. So there you have it, there are the games releasing this week on the Nintendo Switch. As I said, due to being away this week, my internet has been really poor. It's been very hard to get on and find the information I needed to make this video, so if I have missed something obvious, stick it in the comment section and I'll make sure it's at the start of next week's video. Another big thank you to Warhammer 40,000 Lost Crusade for sponsoring this video. Please do check out the top pinned comment for more information on that particular game. A big thank you to our Patreons as always for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, stay safe, and until next time, happy gaming.